real or not. It's two parts because it's pretty long. So here we go. First part.
So, a little backstory. I have a really nice gray Land Cruiser that looks like a monster truck, and it costs a lot of money. Not because of the car itself, but mostly the parts inside of it. I live in a pretty good neighborhood, but it happens to be right next to the most busy road in my area. Also, I was underage when it comes to drinking, so I have never had alcohol in my life, unless I was at church. So let's meet the cast. EM, horrifying excuse for a mom. PK, poor kid, not really playing a part in this story. PO, police officer, aka my guardian angel. Me, most lucky guy in the world. All right, let's start. So I get a message from my coworker saying that there's a problem at work and I'd better come over. So I get out of my house, get in my Land Cruiser, and drive off in a bit of a rush. A few minutes pass and I'm about 3 miles away from work. I stop at a red light at this busy intersection on the most busy effing road in the entire country. There are car crashes here almost every other day. One time it happened twice in one day. So it's no surprise that I got into one at this intersection. So the light turned green and I was in a rush, so I was well in front of the cars beside me. Then, just as I'm about to clear the intersection, a big red minivan T-bones me and we both go sliding in different directions. Me, not as much because my car is much heavier than hers. I almost passed out because of shock and looked out my window to see who dropped a missile strike to the right of my car. I get out of my car and it's in pretty bad shape. There's a huge dent right next to the passenger side door and the glass is broken on the mirror. Luckily, nothing else that's visible. Enter entitled mom and poor kid. EM. What were you doing? Trying to drive ahead like that on red light? You could have killed me or my baby in that crash. And we have a very important birthday to go to. Me. I'm sorry, but it was a green light for me, not for you. And I had the right of way. EM in a quiet, accusatory tone. No, you didn't have the right of way. We had the right of way, not you. Me. Explain to me how you had the right of way. EM. I don't have to explain to you, you drunk a-hole. Once again, underage, never drank in my life. Are you going to pay for my car or what? Her car, the red minivan, looks almost like the front of it was blown up, then rammed by 100 bulls and a couple wrecking balls. I'm honestly surprised that she and her son survived because the driver's seat headrest was impaled by a piece of metal. Satan is most likely protecting his hellspawn from any harm, so she can be the biggest Karen this world has ever seen.
I want to hear part 2 first before I give my opinion.
Okay, give your opinions thus far. I'm just curious I'm curious. I'm doing an experiment. I'm just kind of curious. Is the first part you have an opinion, and then the second part does it change your opinion?
Does it change?
I'll let Anna go first.
So are we supposed to sum up whether we think it's real or not
Real
so
or
far?
not, simply from the first part.
I think it's real.
Yeah, I had to agree. So far, it sounds like something.
So far.
So
Yep.
far.
Okay. Second part.
Okay, here we go.
Me. No, you're going to pay for it along with the damage you did to my car. This was the wrong thing to say. EM. Excuse me, you drunk B-turd. You honestly think I'm going to pay for your crappy A truck that you and your drinking buddy probably pulled out of a trash pile? Me. Yes, B. Again, also wrong thing to say. EM. How dare you treat me like that in front of my kid, you stupid piece of crap? My darling should never be exposed to your potty mouth. Your mother probably left you for dead because you were the most ugly piece of crap in the whole family of 20 kids. And the orphanage that you currently live in got tired of your bullcrap, so they gave you $100 to go buy this piece of crap lump of metal with wheels. Me. Angry as hell. That's it. I'm calling the cops if someone hasn't done so already. PK. Mommy, please stop harassing him. He's done nothing wrong. EM. He's done everything wrong. About 10 minutes later of yelling, 3 cop cars and an ambulance arrive. PO. Excuse me, sir. What happened here? Me. Well, EM. It was horrible, officer. This man was drunk driving. Once again, I was clearly underage and ran a red light, which was clearly visible and almost killed me and my baby. Me. That's not true, officer. This woman is clearly lying, and you can see that I'm sober, and there were a ton of witnesses to the accident and what ensued, and they can tell you that she's in the wrong. P.O. Well, I might as well check both of you and the security cameras. There were security cameras in the intersection that recorded everything. EM, clearly seeing that she was going to get caught. Oh, there's no need of doing that. We'll just exchange info and... P.O. I'm sorry, ma'am, but it's required that I know what happened and which of you is in the wrong, so we'll be watching the cam footage together. The police officer found the accident and saw that EM was clearly running a red light and she was speeding by at least 20 miles over the limit. The limit was 50. Then checks us both with a breathalyzer, and I'm completely sober. But she, couldn't remember the exact number, was the equivalent of, quoting the police officer, having both eyes closed and driving with your feet drunk. They even found a bottle of Jack Daniels in the passenger side back seat half empty. However, the best part is still to come. Turns out she was never going to a birthday party. She was actually leaving the city. Oh, why, you ask? Because it turns out she had 3 pouches of illegal substances worth maybe $2,000 in her trunk. Does it end there? No. She was packing heat, and quite a bit for my state. That's right, police found a loaded handgun and a 6-inch switchblade in the center console. Combine all that, and you get $5,600 in repairs to my car, and a couple thousand more, or reprimands, 10.5 years in prison, 3 years on probation, and plenty of parenting classes, not to mention the several $100 speeding tickets she received before they found the drugs and weapons. EK was sent to his blood father, who actually divorced his mother because of her alcoholism. Personally, I wouldn't even call that waste of human potential a mother.
Okay. It's teetering on false.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can they actually call up the footage of a traffic cam, like right then and there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually can.
They
Yep.
can?
Yep.
Okay, then I'm saying true.
I'm
Okay, we have-
good. Some parts of the second part don't make sense to me. Like, yeah, she might have been carrying, I don't know, drugs or blah, 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 blah. But how did he know all of that backstory? Like, all of that backstory he was knowing? I'm like, that... I don't want to change my vote because I still believe it, mostly. But that last part of him knowing her entire police history is... I'm going to change it to false. I don't think this is real, only because he knew her entire history of her leaving the state because she was in drugs, and the father left her because she had substance abuse issues. How you going to know that all because of one car crash? I'm going to change mine and say, nah, this is not real.
Okay. Let's see what everybody else say before I even go. Oh my gosh, it's like a football game where they all go, we are going to further review and watch it together.
Those progressive commercials.
10.5 years in prison.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
seems like an overkill. Okay, so my answer to all of this is bull crap. This is not real. And the only reason I say this is because, and look what she has in her car. She has a Jack Daniel in the back seat. This is the most weapons I ever seen in my state. 1 gun and a knife. Dude, what state did you stay in? Because that ain't nowhere near the most. Like, I've seen way worse in a neighborhood. You talk about the whole state. This is the worst I've seen. 1 gun and a knife. Sure. Okay. Now I'm with what Tracy said. Dude, you ain't gonna know that she got 10 years in prison. You're not gonna know what the blood alcohol limit is. You're not gonna know she had a gun and a weapon, because at this point it's like, we're arresting you. We arrested her, sir.
Yeah, they're gonna just
You're free
arrest
to
her.
go. Because the rest of it is not your business. Literally. Like, we arrested her for drug, alcohol. And by the way, now this, Anna, is the part what kills me.
Hmm.
I know a lot of cops. They're not holding a full conversation in front of you, especially to the point of saying, yeah, she has the equivalent of driving with her eyes closed and driving the car with her feet. You act like they came up to you, the person, and go, yeah, man, you can't believe what she blew, dude. Whew, it was bad.
She was sauce.
She was 20 miles over the speed limit. She was blanked up. And oh, by the way, we just searched her car and she has a whole bunch of weapons.
And her husband, he left her because she had substance abuse issues.
She has
And
substance abuse. I'm
yeah,
like,
like,
come on.
how
Y'all
you gonna-
holding this conversation like, hey,
Nah.
since you're here. Since you're here, bro, let me tell you all that happened. Come on, man. So I'm gonna go with nah. It's just too much. It's too much information that the guy knows. Oh, will you cut it out? You just sat down. It's too much information that the guy knows that's not going to be shared like that to anybody.
Even if cops are allegedly crooked and a gun happy, they still ain't gonna be doing all this. Oh, and her husband left her, and nah, how he gonna even know that?
I believe it was real until the recorded.
That means she.
Yeah, it was like the recording could be true, but here's another thing, Mickey. The recording
Because they can, the recording
they
part.
can bring it up, but again, she's 20 miles over the speed limit, dude. How you know that is not going to be told in front of you?
Because the cars were already crashed. So how did he know she was 20 miles up? It's not like he was no.
I believe before the content of the truck too. You know what? I was good with the content of the finding alcohol in the truck, but when you and they found the guns, and they found a dead body, and they found that she was a serial killer, and they found that really wasn't even her kid.
She was at the January 6th insurrection. It was her that planned the whole thing. What?
And they found I forgot to even say that. How you know there was $2,000 worth of drugs in her?
Yeah,
truck?
how did you know?
Again, where is you getting?
I want to know. My thing was, as soon as they said, "Oh, she was doing 20 miles over the speed limit," did you have a speedometer gun that you knew? The cars had already been crashed.
All that info about the other. Yes, they're not going to tell you all this information about the other person. They're just not going to share that with you.
Now, if he had said later, I found out from Big Blabbermouth, well, okay, maybe I would have believed it, but he could have stopped me right at that 20 miles an hour over the speed limit.
You literally, even if he was to say later in public documents, because if you are arrested and charged and everything else, now it's public record, you can read it. You could have said in public records later on. You act like the cops just found all this information. Every time they find out something, they ran up to you and go, and she was 20 miles under the speed limit, and runs back to her. She got a gun.
She got a knife. A shovel.
There's a Jack Daniels in the trunk. Man, that ain't even her kid. Like, come on, man. It was a nice story, but you oversold it. So sorry, but not sorry. Tracy, she was at the yeah, might as well. Again, how can we miss the obvious one? Come to find out, she wasn't going to a birthday party. She was leaving town.
How did you know she was leaving town?
How did you know that?
Did she?
What that got to do with your rent? Let's put it to you that way. What does any of the information that you have had to do with your rent? And if it doesn't, you don't know that stuff.
I'm looking at a police officer real salty if they telling me that much. Let's look, Sherlock Holmes. Right. You did not know all of that based off of a car crash.
Dude.
If they had
I'm looking at him like, Mr. Clyburn, she also got a 12 gauge shotgun, and I really am gonna look at him and go, why are you telling me this?
Yeah, I don't.
She got a whole case of Jack Daniels in her trunk. Why are you
Read
telling
Mickey's
the truth?
comment. Please read Mickey's comment. No, she didn't. Mickey, you so wrong.
And she had
Mickey, you oh.
no, she is George.
Oh my!
I'm not-
If they
I'm
had
not-
just played the first half of the story, I
Yeah.
might have believed it. But boy, that 20 miles over the speed limit thing, dude, how he gonna surmise that? How?
And by the way, but I have to say this. That's not where I started thinking that it was fake. I started thinking it was fake when she was doing the insults. Because that was like, lady,
You
these are the
drunk.
lamest insults I have ever
You're
heard
drunk.
in my life.
And then another thing, yeah, what I didn't catch, he kept saying I was sober. Okay, why you gotta keep bringing that up? I just now caught that. How many times?
No,
did he
she
say
kept saying he was drunk.
No, he said he wasn't drunk.
He was
said,
underage and could
underage.
not drink. He was very, except for church.
yeah, he can only drink in church. But why did he keep saying, I'm sober? I'm sober. Like, why bring that up? It didn't matter. She was really George Santos in drag. What a
Mickey.
Go to
No,
bed, Mickey.
Mickey, don't ever change.